What's up, Tea Tribe? This is Alyssa Amoroso, aka Publyssity, who is ready to spill the tea. Because this is Tea with Publyssity. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tea with Publyssity. Another Tuesday, another episode. This one, I think you guys are really going to enjoy because I'm having Lauren Elizabeth on. If you don't know her from YouTube, maybe you've come across her on Instagram. She's freaking hysterical. Like, we just laughed our asses off together and gelled so well. So we will get into that interview a little bit later. But first, let me tell you guys about Mamitas, the presenting sponsor of Tea with Publyssity. You guys know I love Mamitas. You know I love tequila. And they merge everything I like into one. Mamitas is a hard seltzer made with real tequila. It has only 95 calories with a 5% ABV. So it's always going to get the job done, especially now that we are entering spring and summer's on the horizon. It comes in 4 delicious flavors: mango, pineapple, Paloma, and lime. And you can get them in a 4-pack or an 8-pack. It's mucho delicious. It is the beverage I will be drinking all summer. So be sure to get yours and follow them at Drink Mamitas and continue to tag me because I love bonding over tequila with you guys. So like I said, we'll hop into that interview with Lauren Elizabeth in a little bit. But right now I'm just in the studio with Mackenzie and we're going to catch up. What's going on?
Nothing much. How are you?
Good. I had a good weekend. Was yours nice?
Yeah, it was good. It was nice.
Mine was it was low key because it's not summer yet.
No.
But it's kind of summer.
But it's warm out, so you want it to be summer already.
Yeah, exactly. It's this weird in between. So I went to my shore house with my parents, but that was kind of boring. So I'm not going to really bother you guys with that when I have some other life updates that I feel like you'll be more interested in. So first of all, I told you guys last week I started personal training. I went on Thursday last week and I'm still a tiny bit sore and it's Monday.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be a journey for sure.
Always the first one back too is the worst because you're just getting back into it.
But the issue is I'm going Monday and Thursday. So I'm if I work out today, I'm still going to be sore on Thursday.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like the advice I always hear is the best thing is just to keep doing it. That is the only thing that will help you be less sore.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense, but.
No, I'm literally just going to be sore from here on out.
Yeah, exactly.
In perpetuity. So that went really well. I liked my trainer that they matched me up with because he's just super calming, but also kind of motivates me. He just had a really calming presence. So I really like him. So I will continue to keep you guys updated there, but it kind of feels good to be sore because you're yes, I'm doing something.
Yeah, definitely.
But it kind of sucks when you can't sit up. You're on the floor and you're trying to lift yourself up and you're
Yeah, literally dying. I've been so sore sometimes that when I sneeze and everything compresses, it's my abs are it literally hurts to sneeze.
Do you ever get so sore that you can't straighten your arms?
Yeah, sometimes.
Your elbows are literally.
Yep. Just folded in forever.
Yes. So that's just a little update there. Okay, so this obviously we record Mondays, comes out Tuesdays. I'm supposed to have a date Tuesday. I'm recording this Monday. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys I don't think the date is happening for a few reasons. In the moment when I was having a conversation with this guy, I thought I was right, but I sent it to a friend and I think they think I overreacted. Oh. But I still stand by my reaction. So I want to get a pulse on it. So basically, you guys know I'm trying to dip my toe back into dating. I matched with this guy and he's basically a carbon copy of the guy that I was talking to that I believe to be a narcissist in terms of they're from the same country. They're both really tall and they kind of look alike a little bit. So I was oh my God, what are the chances that this guy is 2.0 of the other guy? So I was whatever. I don't know if that's my PTSD speaking or if I should just give him the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. So I decided this is the perfect person for me to dip my toe back into dating with because, like,
doesn't matter.
I don't want to say too much because if this ever gets back, it's like kind of, I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, true.
But it just like felt like he would be a good time and not necessarily someone I'd want to see a long-term relationship with based on literally knowing nothing, just his pictures and his, I don't know. Again, I don't want to be mean. And I'm not even talking about looks because he's attractive. It was more just like the vibe that I got. Yeah. But here's where the issue comes into play. So we're talking on Hinge and we're talking, and he's not asking me out. Then we get into talking about how, like, I'm a good cook, and he's like, oh, you can cook me dinner sometime. So I was like, this isn't going to be a situation where you just, like, come to my apartment.
Right. On the first date.
Like, yeah. So I said, which I was proud of myself, I was like, okay, if our first date goes well, then maybe we could discuss a time for me to cook you dinner. Like, I just completely put the ball in his court. Yeah. And he was like, all right, how's next week? Oh. So I was like, oh, that was like good because I wanted to lay out the fact that, like, you need to take me out.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I thought that was really good. Stand by that. No problems there. Yeah. Then we moved on to text message. And because we're from different countries, I feel as though our humor was getting lost in translation. Like I was being like witty and sarcastic, and I think he was being, but I was mistaking his for being rude, and he was mistaking mine for being rude. I think.
Yeah, and like over messages, you can never tell.
Because what wound up happening basically, so after we set a date, then we moved to text message, which I would have preferred to just stop talking at that point that day, then maybe checked in and then went on the date. Yeah, I don't like talking to someone nonstop before you go on a date because then you kind of have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, true. Like save it for the date.
And then sometimes you have more chemistry in text than you even do in real life.
Yeah, and then you meet and it's like a dud.
Yeah, so it's like, let's not even go there. Let's just meet and see if we vibe. So he said a few things that I found to be immediate red flags. That said, I'm looking to date, not to marry this, like anyone that I'm dating right now. I just want to get back out there. So I ignored all the red flags because I don't care.
Right, yeah, it doesn't matter.
I just want to have a good time. So a few things to me were kind of a red flag. So I think that's what put me on the defense a little bit. Yeah. And then he said something, which I also thought was another red flag. He was like, I'm really funny. Like, I'll make you crack up all night. And I'm like, you can't say you're funny. You just have to be funny.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's definitely not funny if he's saying like, he's funny.
And he was like really selling me on it. He's like, you'll be on the floor. You'll be. Oh. But like his texts weren't funny. Yeah. So I was like, what are you saying? But in my head, I'm like, at the very least, we'll laugh. Yeah. So then he said something. He said something about, I've been told I look like a fuckboy. Oh. What? And I thought that was a really weird thing to say. Yeah. Because why are you already giving me that impression? It up? Yeah. So I said, it's the pink shorts in your photo. I thought that was funny. Like,
that's hilarious.
They were like douchey shorts.
Oh yeah, my roommate and I were talking over the weekend, like the salmon color like shorts is like frat, like you're in a frat. If you wear those shorts, like 100%. It's not even a question.
100%, but I think that's American culture.
Yes.
Oh, is my point.
Definitely. So he was probably confused.
I think he was confused why I'm calling out the shorts. Yeah. That's my exact point. Yeah. Like that's frat boy culture. But like in whatever, I'm just in the UK, they don't have fucking
frats
salmon
and stuff
shorts
and like college like that. Yeah.
So I said, he said, wait, what? And I said, I'm saying the pink shorts in your photo, they're fuckboy shorts, but I'm just messing with you. And then he said, oh, period, those shorts, period. I love those shorts.
Oh my God. Okay.
So now I was like, oh my God, I insulted him. Yeah. And then he said this, you know where those shorts look better though? And in my head, I was like, ew.
Yeah, exactly. Where
like
are you
we
going?
Haven't met and now you're trying to sext. Yeah. Like wouldn't that give you sext vibes?
100%. I was like, my face was like, what's going to happen right now?
So I wrote, this took a turn because like, I'm just not in the, I'm not in the mood for this. And he said, you don't know what I'm going to say though. So I just played along. Yeah. I said, where did they look better? Yeah. And he said, in my wardrobe. Like,
wait, what?
Like, in other words, that's how like British people say closet. But like, in other words, he was saying like, they're ugly too. They belong in my closet. Yeah. But I was playing. So I put the laughing emoji. I said, haha, okay, good save. Yeah. And then he said, I don't know what you're insinuating. So I felt like he was trying to gaslight me for insinuating that he was making like a sex joke.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah.
But I can't tell if he was playing and if I was playing. Right. Like somewhere along the way, the joking he thought I was insinuating that he was like coming on to me, but he just told me he was a fuckboy. And then he made the comment about the shorts. Yeah. So then I reacted, and then he was gaslighting me into being like, what are you insinuating?
Right.
So I was already getting like really weird vibes. Yeah. And then I was just like, all right, it was nice chatting. I'm going to go to sleep, speak soon. And he was like, all right, talk soon. And we just have never spoken again.
When was that?
Before the weekend, maybe like Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, that is very strange, but it's also so hard with text messaging because like, yeah, you never know what the person's tone is because it's just a message.
Yeah, because I was being funny by being like, way to save yourself. And he was like, what are you insinuating? So I was like, is he kidding? Because he could have been kidding. Like, what are you insinuating?
Yeah,
like,
right.
It could have all been like banter, but because you don't know tone, like I was kind of feeling on the defense because I'm like, are you trying to gaslight me?
Right. And you also don't know him. So you don't know his humor. Like you don't know exactly like what he would be joking about specifically.
Yeah. So safe to say, I don't think we're going out, even though we were supposed to go out Tuesday because that was our last conversation and like it didn't go very well.
Yeah. Mixed signals.
I had to tell you guys because I was just like, this is, I don't know, maybe he's a great guy. Like we might have just, I think our communication just, we weren't picking up what each other was saying.
Yeah.
I really think sometimes that happens with like cultural differences.
Yes, and it's like hard when you don't know someone either because you don't like know their attitude or like their tone or anything.
I was like, what the hell?
That's so funny though.
I don't know though. He might have been joking and I might have just been taking it too seriously. I really have no idea.
And also he might be thinking the same thing like, oh, she's mad at me now.
That's what I think kind of happened. Yeah, I think we both like were misunderstanding each other. 100%. Whereas I think in person we would have laughed it off because you could tell someone's like demeanor and
tone. 100%.
Yeah. So I was supposed to have my first date, didn't have a date, like my first date in a while. So I'll keep you guys posted. After that, I kind of like didn't go on dating apps for like 3 days because this is my issue. I get like trauma. Like if someone like ghosts me, then I'll just like stop dating for 3 months. Like I don't know what, not ghost me, but just in dating in general, if something weird happens, I like retract.
Yeah.
Which I need to not do because you can't let
like one instance like affect your whole life.
Yes, exactly. So I'll get back on it tonight. I'll try to set up another date. And then when I actually go on a date, like I don't know how much I'm going to share. I'll tell you guys obviously, but I've learned that the T tribe is like grade A detectives. So I'm a little nervous if I start liking someone for them to be dug into,
exposed. Yeah.
Or for them to like know that I'm talking about them on my podcast that make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So guys, you're on this journey with me because I'm kind of an open book and can't keep my mouth shut, so it's going to be a problem.
Right. If they can't understand, then they're not.
I just need someone that's going to like be like, okay, fine, you could talk about me.
Yeah,
but
like confident in his own.
don't say XYZ.
Right.
But
yeah, don't say his name, but no, it's fine. It's okay.
So I do have an update with the Mirror Saga. It is coming tomorrow. So my drop-off window is like 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So by tomorrow, the mirror should be in my apartment. Let's hope it looks good. I feel like we're finally closing that chapter. And if you're new here and you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can go to the highlight in my Instagram. It's called like the Mirror Saga. And we went on a wild ride together. So that's coming. And then I did want to tell you guys a few things about just like self-care wellness because I feel like we haven't had a check-in in a while. So 2 things that I do for myself that I think you guys should do and implement if you're feeling like you need something is I set 2 daily reminders that go off in my phone daily. So I have one reminder that goes off at 10 a.m. every single day since the new year that says don't spend another year doing the same shit because my year of 2021 is progress. I just want to make progress in my life. Career, personal, physical, everything, mental. So I already feel like I've actually checked off so many things on my like manifestation board and vision board so far this year. But that reminder goes off every single day, 10 a.m. just to remind me, don't do the same shit. Like it is time to move forward. So that goes off. And then at 3 p.m., I added another alarm that goes off and it just says check in. And what I do is I take a deep breath. You guys could do it with me now. I go, and that's my breath. My friend Jill told me to do that. And it kind of just like centers you. And that's my 3 p.m. check-in. And then I reevaluate where I am. So I'm like, okay, 3 p.m., how do I feel about today? Am I anxious? Have I been eating nutritious foods? Am I feeling like I'm lazy? Am I feeling motivated? Just like, where am I? Check in with yourself, take your deep breath, and then you keep it moving. So if you guys need a little bit of inspiration, I think that you should also set alarms. Pro tip. And then another thing, I'm thinking about asking our merch department here if I could come out with a notebook. I think it would be really cute to come out with Self-Care Club and Manifest notebooks because I love to journal. It's something that like makes me feel so centered. I'll take my journal, I'll walk to the water, I'll just write down my feelings. And I think it could be cool if it's something that the Tea Tribe kind of like does as a community. Like we all promise to, at least once a week or once a day, write down our thoughts and just like do something good for our mental health. So maybe I'll launch a notebook just so we could all kind of be on the same page. But
oh, I see what you did there.
So yeah, I think that could be really cool. I need to come up with a name for it, like, Manifestation Monday. I'll think on it.
Oh, that's not bad.
Let me know if you guys have any or Tea Tribe Tuesday. Oh,
that's pretty good.
True Intentions Tuesday. I don't know. DM me on Instagram and let me know. I would love to make it a little habit for all of us. Okay, and lastly, let's see what else is on my list here. If you guys saw my lists of updates, I just keep a running list on my phone that's things to talk about on the podcast. Yeah. And as I do things, I just add it.
Write them down, yeah.
Sometimes I want to post them because it's funny. It will be dating 2.0. HIBLI, 2-day alarms. I don't know. They're so funny.
Yeah.
So lastly, I just want to tell you guys that my merch is out. So as we talk about manifestation and self-care and all these things, my new spring summer line is out. We have the Manifest t-shirt, the Underdressed and Stressed long sleeve shirt, the Self-Care Club matching yellow set. Everything. Merch is out, so go cop yours and make sure you tag me when it comes in so we can match a little bit and just be on the same page. Okay, guys, so I am going to hop into my interview with Lauren Elizabeth. Stick around after for the Ask Alyssa segment, and then we will spill some tea, and I have some major HIBLIs this week, so I can't wait to get to it. Okay, guys, I am here with Lauren Elizabeth. Super excited to chat. I've been watching your vlogs, and I'm so into them.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
You got your start on YouTube. That's your shtick, right?
Yeah, I've been on YouTube since 2011. So that's literally makes me a grandma. And it was, it was back when you weren't making money on YouTube, It was just I was in high school and I was bored and I saw a couple girls doing what's in my bag videos. And I was like, that's fun. I have a purse and I was grounded and my mom was do something with your life. And I was like, you do something with your life. And I slammed my door and I started a YouTube channel.
That's amazing. It's crazy because you're still super young. How old are you?
I'm actually 26 and 3/4, but I'm a little bit past the 3/4 mark now. So I'm really nervous. I turned 27 in exactly 2 months.
Yeah. So I just turned 30 in January and 26 to go. I feel you've lived 90 million lives, which is why I wanted to have you on the podcast because I'm this girl for the young age of 26 has lived a million lives. So from what I know, and then you fill in the details, but you were living with a boyfriend, you went through a breakup, you just bought a house, you've gone sober. It's what haven't you done? I feel it's so wild.
It's literally I remember during the pandemic, I looked at my brother and I was just when is it going to stop? When am I going to have to stop dealing with bullshit and getting on the internet? I've been getting on the internet since I was 16 being okay guys, spoiler alert, I'm depressed. And then it was spoiler alert, I'm this, spoiler alert. And I was just when is it going to stop? And he was I think you've made it, you're through it and you've shared your story. And then boom, 3 months later, I get my heart broken and I have to move and all this shit. And I'm it doesn't stop. So, it's fine. We're all going to be fine. But I definitely feel like a grandma for sure.
But you talk so much about mental health, which I love. We talk about it a lot here. Have you always kind of dealt with mental health, like even from a young age? Or some people are like, I just started feeling it for the first time during COVID. I'm like, wow, must be nice. Like that it came on later in life.
I know, it's like, I'm like, you know, I understand anxiety now. And I'm like, yeah, imagine what it's like for people that like already have anxiety, putting like the pandemic on top of it. I was like, at least you know what like our daily lives feel like now. But yeah, I mean, I had always struggled with mental health from like a younger age. And so when I started my YouTube channel, it was like also like everyone was kind of like being like super like perfect on the internet. And so I just felt like after I started gaining like a small following, I mean, at the time it was, you know, quote unquote big, but comparatively to now, like, you know, Charlie D'Amelio, it's nothing. Mm-hmm. But at the time, you know, like there were people that like quote unquote looked up to me and I just felt like a fraud. Like I just felt I can't put on this image and have girls think that this is something that they have to aspire to be like when like I'm not even like that. And so it just felt really inauthentic from like the get-go before there was any, you know, chatter about authenticity on the internet. And so I like had always been dealing with it. And I pretty much like right when I was 19 started talking about it on the internet just because I wanted to, you know, like make sure that girls knew that they didn't have to be perfect or aspire to be like me when like I wasn't even like the person I was pretending to be on the internet. And I mean, still to this day, like those are the DMs I get. And it just kind of like always resonates with like, A, why I keep doing what I do, and B, that like, you know, it's, I can stress so much about what outfit posts I'm going to do, yet like all my DMs are about like anxiety and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's such a fine line because I feel like you could live a life that's like fun and liking fashion and being outgoing and doing all of these things, but like still battling demons inside. Like, I don't think they go hand in hand. And I think sometimes when people only show the good parts of themselves on social media, it's easy for the public to be like, wow, you're so lucky. You have it made. When it's like, yeah, like part of my life is that way, but like the other part of my life is like me in bed crying or like riddled with anxiety.
Yeah, I always say like even when I bought my house recently, I was like, listen, like I'm so grateful and so fortunate. And I like always just like to put it in perspective because I always say like I've been working since I was 16 years old. Like it took me 10 years to be able to afford a house. Just because I'm young, you have to put into perspective that this has taken me 10 years of my career. So just it's just a different age. Like if you started your career at 26 and 10 years was 36, like it's still like the same accomplishment, I guess. And so I always just like to put it in perspective of like, this is what's really going on of like, yes, I bought a house. I worked really hard. I'm very grateful. I know I'm very fortunate. However, like buying this beautiful house does not cure my depression. And like, it shouldn't have to. Like if I'm saying like I'm crying in bed, if I say I'm like crying in bed and you DM me saying, well, you have a beautiful house, it's like, okay, well, you clearly don't understand mental health at all. And it's easy to put it in perspective when you think of like, because I even had that moment and I understand where people are coming from. You know, I saw that Kendall Jenner is doing some mental health series with Vogue. And, you know, for someone like me, I see that and like, I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of annoying because she's saying that, you know, she started having anxiety 2 years ago and now she's like this advocate for mental health. And then my logical side comes in, not like my human, natural, like ego, jealousy. Logical side comes in and I'm like, okay, she's like a really big celebrity. And I'm sure that she's actually raising awareness and getting the message out there just because she might not be what I think is the perfect spokesperson. I don't know her. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure in her position, she has depression and anxiety. I would hate to be Kendall Jenner because that fame looks horrible. And so it's like, who am I to judge and all that stuff? But I understand where like the ego and like the kind of trollness comes into play because I'm that bitch sitting on the couch being like, what the fuck? Like Kendall Jenner, I'm so jealous. So I get it.
Yeah.
Sorry, am I allowed to share?
Oh yeah, girl, let it out. I totally agree, but it's so funny because I sometimes look at celebrities and I'm like, they're the most unhappy because like like, look at all of the child actors and like where they are now and what they've been through. Like Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, Justin Bieber. It's like fame to me doesn't, and money doesn't like equate to happiness. So I try to give everyone like a pass because I'm like, you don't know what it's like to walk in their shoes. Yeah. For you specifically, was it hard you had a breakup, someone that you were dating kind of long term, and then you decided to buy a house. Was it hard buying a house as a single woman?
Oh my God. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like it's the same thing. Super grateful.
Yeah.
It's, it was that kind of moment where I grew up in the Midwest, and I thought as a 16-year-old, I'd, get married in my 20s and buy a house with my husband. Like, I'm just like that girl. And so, yeah, it felt lonely. It was like, yes, this is a smart thing to do with my money, but like, damn, like I didn't think that I'd be doing this alone. Like, I thought that I'd have a partner. I thought I'd have someone to help me financially carry that like big weight, help me emotionally like decide, move in. And then you're literally signing so many pieces of paper. And I had to mark single so many times. I literally was like, what the fuck? I was like, why does the bank need to know that I'm single? I was so mad. I was just like, check the box. I was like, yes, I'm single. Yes, I'm Miss. Like, it was so annoying. So it was like it was like just thrown in my face. It's not even just like what you think, like, oh yeah, like, was it hard being single? It's like, no, like the bank wanted to know, escrow wanted to know, like the seller wanted to know, like everyone needed to know that I was single on the fucking paperwork, everyone. Okay.
That's like one time I went to like 10 doctors in 1 week because I was like having some weird thing go on. And every doctor would be like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no. Are you pregnant? No. Finally, by the 8th time, I was like, there's no way I'm fucking pregnant. Like,
oh my God, I've done that before. I literally screamed at someone one time being like, am I Mother Teresa? Like, literally, I was like, am I like the Virgin Mary? Because like, there's no way I'm pregnant unless like Jesus like is coming out of my mouth. So can you fucking stop asking me? Like, oh my God. My mom like literally asked me this morning and I was like, Mom, how would I be pregnant right now?
It's like, unless it's an immaculate conception, like there's no way.
Listen, like I'm down to go down in the history books as like second immaculate conception, but I don't think that's happening. So please shut the fuck up. I'm single and not pregnant. Okay.
I know. I totally relate. So I'm single. I don't own my place, but I rent in New York in like a 1-bedroom by myself. And I kind of have this thing, and I'm wondering if you feel this way too, where I'm like, now that it's decorated how I want it to be, it's like the thought of someone else putting their clothes in like my organized closet. It's like, do you feel this kind of like weird sense of if you start dating someone, it's like no longer your house. Like you have to make your house theirs too, and like that's kind of awkward also.
This is exactly why I'm embracing being single. I'm like, I'm sorry, like you're gonna share the closet and like your shit is gonna be all over my house and I'm gonna have to clean it up. Like that's something that helps me sleep at night, is knowing that like I can be my OCD self and like not have to clean up someone else's stuff and like share. And I always say, I'm like, Lauren, the next person you meet, you might like literally spend the rest of your life with them. So like enjoy this clean space until there's like a dirty boy and children running around. And you're going to look back this time and be like, oh, remember my beautiful house when I was single?
Yeah, there's going to be like sports memorabilia like hung on a wall.
Like literally, like you should see me on Hinge. I'm like, okay, you're holding a fish. Bye. Like, okay, if you're taking a mirror pic with your shirt off, goodbye. Like, it's just, we have no time for that. Okay.
Oh, the criteria isn't extreme. I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't like your job. Like, I don't like this. I don't like that.
Like, where'd you go to college? What's your job? I literally am like, is everyone lying about their height? Because like, if you're 5'11", like, I don't believe you. Like, I don't.
Wait, so what do you have your job listed as on dating apps?
Okay.
I love this question.
It's been a long journey for me on Hinge because I've had to reach out to many a friend. And every time I showed in the past like 3 months, every time I've showed someone my Hinge profile, like one of my girlfriends, they're like, no, they're like, your Hinge profile literally sucks. So I have finally, as of 2 weeks ago, I finally settled on my perfect Hinge profile. And I've recruited people from all over the country. I've showed my New York friends, my Chicago friends, my LA friends. It is in a beautiful spot. Okay. It's at first, like it doesn't scream influencer. It screams like normal girl, but like cute normal girl. Yes. I did put the college down that I went to for a year to make me look smart. And my occupation is founder and mental health advocate, which like isn't a lie. It's not.
I love that.
It sounds like way more legit than I am, but like it's a lie, kind of, right?
It makes it sound like you founded a mental health company, which is smart because then it gives me like doctor vibes.
Right? It's like, it gives it like I like help people like in an everyday like hands-on space where like in reality, like I upload a podcast talking about mental health and I curse a lot. Like, you know?
Wait, okay. So mine now, I used to do when I was just like an influencer full time, I did entrepreneur because like, you know,
oh my God,
you want to act like
I'm
a boss.
already saying, thank God you changed it. No.
I changed it. Well, because I didn't want to put like blogger. I think that's so tacky.
I know, but like think about when you see guys with entrepreneur, I'm like, you don't have a job.
I know. But in my head, I was like, I rather than think I'm like smart than think I'm vapid is what my thought process.
Okay.
So I changed it. So now, because if I were to put that I work at a sports company, that's like all guys will be like, oh my God, sports. So I don't put that.
Okay.
So now what I put is so like it's so discreet. It's just digital media at media company, because like I don't want to put the company name and I don't want to put like podcast host.
Okay, but that makes you look like you're a big time producer.
It does.
It's like
no, but I feel like digital media could be anything.
Like you could like literally work at Yahoo. Like we don't know.
Yeah, so I think that's like where I've landed because it's like discreet.
Yes, I love that. And I think it's like really important to focus on the prompts because the prompts weed out the dweebs. Like that's what I've found. Like my prompts aren't telling you about me. My prompts are seeing how you respond so I can tell if you're a loser before I have to find out in real life. That's what I figured out.
Yeah.
But I do have a story that I don't know if I'm ready to share, but if you want me to share it, I feel like
I really want you to.
Okay. So, you know, you probably had an idea of what this podcast title was going to be, and I'm about to flip it on its head because I got catfished last week. And I'm not proud of it. So, okay. So I talked to this guy from Hinge for literally 10 days. Like 10 fucking days. And I was going to go on a date with him. And we're talking. And literally like 30 minutes before the date, I'm like sitting with my mom, like my whole family's in town. And I'm like, he's like not responding, like what's going on? And like, keep in mind, like I was excited. Like this is so embarrassing. And like we had like talked on the phone, like this is so embarrassing. And I call him and it's a busy signal. And I'm like, what? And so I call him again and it's a busy signal. And I'm like, what the fuck? So we call from my brother's girlfriend's phone, like star 67, and it ring, no busy signal. And it goes to voicemail. So then we call from another phone, ring, goes to voicemail. And keep in mind, his texts were always green. So it wasn't an iPhone. And so my brother's girlfriend, like, she's like, oh, like, my dad's a cop. She's like, this is like, it's green because he's using a blocked number. So we start Googling him. We start reverse image searching him. Like, nothing is coming up. And so I'm in a Facebook group from the Morning Toast called like the TIA, where it's like the intelligence agency. And it's all these fucking girls from across the country that literally find out shit. So I post all of his photos and his Hinge profile. And it's like from my personal Facebook. So it's like my real last name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey girls, like I need you. Some of you may know me as Lauren Elizabeth. Like, hi, yeah, we can all get catfished. I literally think I got catfished. These girls went to fucking work. Like literally they found the fake Facebook profile. One girl like literally has a brother in London who recognized him. That's not his real name.
No.
Not the photo. Like I literally, first of all, I exposed myself to an entire Facebook community. And they were like, did you give me your address? Like, like reverse number search him. I'm like, you guys are fucking crazy. I figured out that that I literally did a reverse phone number search. I figured out that it was like someone in Newport Beach by the name of like Josh or something. Like it wasn't his real name. And I have no idea who I was talking to for 10 days. Still.
I don't get his end game because like, why talk if you're going to ghost?
Well, it's
I don't get it.
It's like, okay, like, so you catfished me. Like, you clearly used someone else's pictures. And like, looking back, like, it's just like so weird. Like, I should have realized that some of the stuff didn't totally add up to the Hinge profile. And like, some of the pictures, I was like, you look like a little different in this picture, but like, you're a boy. And like,
yeah,
it's so embarrassing. And like,
no, it isn't because it happens. No, it seriously happens.
No, it doesn't. I'm literally the biggest loser on the fucking planet. I got catfished. Everyone be careful. So now I have like an app for like a reverse phone number search. Like I literally I made a LinkedIn account. Like I am ready to go. I mean, I literally just like want to hide in a hole. Like I'm single for the rest of my life. Like, do you want to like co-parent a child one day? Like what are we going to do?
I can't. Wait, while we're talking about dating, I do want to transition into you being sober, but this brings up an interesting question. Do you identify on your profile that you don't drink? And do you, like, what kind of dates do you suggest? Like, have you had any nervousness around dating and bringing that up?
I definitely was like, when my ex and I broke up, because I was like, I've genuinely like never like quote unquote actually dated. Like I have just met people through mutual friends in LA for the past 9 years. And like, I'm at this point where it's like, I don't really want to, like, I kind of just want to find a good guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, this really hasn't worked out well for me. And so I actually put like on the Hinge that I drink like sometimes, just because I'm more like sober curious in a sense of like, I'm not uncomfortable around people drinking at all. Like, I know one day, like I might drink again when I'm like in a healthier place. Like for me, it's like one day at a time. And my sobriety like got me through literally the hardest year of my life. And it's just like not something that like, I'm like, this is my entire identity. You know what I mean? And it's not like a deal breaker for me if someone does drink, because for some people it is, you know, because like they can't be around it. And it's like every journey is like so different. And I know like it makes people really, really uncomfortable to be around people that are drinking. And it actually makes me more uncomfortable if people weren't drinking because I was there. Like that is exactly why. That's like it's like one of my biggest character defects is being a people pleaser and like not putting myself before other people. But like
you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes me more uncomfortable.
Yeah,
seeing someone drink. So for me, it's like I don't want to like be like we can't go out to drinks, because just because like I'm not gonna drink doesn't mean that like it's a different, like it makes it like a different vibe. And it's like I still kind of want that relaxed vibe. So for me, it's like, I think it's my advice for people is to like really obviously like follow your own like gut. And for me, that's my gut. And there's so many different, like there, even like if you're like out at a bar with your friends, like just like getting, like I was in Cabo and I was literally drinking sparkling water with lime juice, like with like salt on the rim, like lime. And it, cause it just feels like fancy, you know, like it's not like a
social
sentence. It's just, it's easy. And I think honestly, like dating people sober, it just kind of, it makes me realize like what I want. And it's, you know, I think you get to this point where you're really confident in yourself and you know that you don't need alcohol. And it just becomes this like fun, like, oh, I'm confident and like take it or leave it. And it's not as hard as I honestly thought it would be, to be completely honest.
That's great. I mean, I think the thing with like sobriety in general is it looks so different for every single person that sometimes as a person that doesn't have an issue with like substances, it's hard for you to understand, because like I've seen so many people, like people that drink every single day a lot, but then they're functioning and they're fine. And then there's people that can't have a sip. And then there's people that are open. Like there's so many different ways that people deal with it, and it's personal to each person. So like sometimes it's kind of just like you have to do what's right for you and just be like, this is my truth and the hell with everyone else.
Yeah, I think it's like also kind of like this saying of like, you have the right to course correct, change your mind, and make choices. And I think for me, it's really been this like beautiful, like just kind of like awakening through all this shit that I've been through of like, oh, like I can make my own choices and I can choose for myself and I can live for myself. Cause like I was in, you know, this like 4-year relationship where I was never choosing for myself, like anything. And I was pleasing someone and I was doing things for someone else. And the farther away I got from it, I was like, oh, like I'm not a horrible person. And like, I do have great qualities and like I can be confident in myself and I can just be myself and like people will still love me and like me. And it's really cool to be able to not be so just kind of, it's like almost like what we were talking about earlier, where it's like you know, you're 16, you think you're going to be married in your 20s and just being like, it's okay that I'm not. And like, it's okay that I am who I am today. And I'm going to make a choice and I'm just going to see how it turns out. Like not putting all this pressure on yourself, whether it's in dating or sobriety or like life choices or anything, just like knowing you can live your life like one day at a time. Obviously it's so different when you're under a microscope because you put your life on the internet. But in my personal life, it's really been just this huge like mood booster and confidence booster of like, I can live my life for myself and make my own choices. Like there's no one I have to answer to, like no one. And it's take it or leave it, you know?
I think there's something so empowering about like standing in like being single. Like I feel like I've been single for a while, but at this point I'm like, I know me and I know what I want. And I feel like my single years of like independence has made me prepared for when I meet that person to settle down with, because I know exactly who I am. I've done the self-work. I've done all of these things versus I think if I had stayed in my long-term relationship or just jumped from relationship to relationship, I would have never probably done the self-work that I've been forced to do as a single person.
Yeah. I mean, it's like literally that's kind of why I'm, you know, I'm having so much fun like going on dates and stuff. But it's like part of me is like, I don't even want to like jump right back into a relationship because like I am doing all that self-work and I'm learning so much about myself. And it's exactly what you said. Like, imagine if you did jump right back in and who like you wouldn't have grown so much. I think it's such like a powerful stage of life because you learn so much through the grieving process and the healing process. And then once you like get into that like confident self-work, I like read in this book that this one woman in like Gabby Bernstein's book, it's called The Universe Has Your Back. And she tells this story about one of her friends that couldn't meet the right guy. And it's kind of like a book that's like all about like kind of manifesting, but I relate to it a little bit more because I'm not as like woo woo, like I'm not sticking crystals up my vagina, but she said something of like, I'm like, her manifestation mantra was like, I'm just preparing for my future husband. It's like, that's it. Like, I'm working on myself so that when that happens, like I'm prepared. Like, not that you're like necessarily just manifesting love, but you're like manifesting the self-work in the meantime. And so like, whenever I go on a bad date or like I get like let down or something, I'm like, cool. Like, I'm just still on the path for like my future partner. Like, it's going to happen when it happens. And this is just a part of the process. And like, just trusting that like there is a plan and like I'm not in control, like really just surrendering, but also like living and making choices for myself in the meantime. You learn so much. So it's like, instead of like throwing this fucking pity party 24/7, like it's like you're saying, like stand in your power, like stand in your singleness. Like it's literally like such a gift. Honestly, I know it sounds lame, but like some people don't have that, you know, some people have a different journey and a different path. But I think that this one is like a really powerful one for like, you know, creating you into the best, like most confident woman you can be, which I know scares a lot of guys, but hey, that's why we're
I know, it's so true. There's like this not misconception. There's like this thing that we're taught where it's like, don't be too available, but it's like, but then don't be too much of like a boss bitch, because if you're too powerful, then people are intimidated by you. And it's like, which one is it? It's like, I'm at the point where I'm like, the person that my partner is going to like me where I'm at, what I'm doing, support my career. Like, I'm not going to change myself to make you feel more comfortable because maybe we're the breadwinners or we're, you know, in the public a little bit more. It's like, the person that's meant to be with us is going to be like, yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like literally, I was like, my top 3 things is A, you worship the ground I walk on. B, you're obsessed with me. And C, like we make decisions together for us and we both want the same thing. Like we agree. And I think that like, it's like where I'm at now. It's like any advice I can give is like, if you're changing for someone, it's never going to work. And if it does work, you're going to be miserable. And I spent 4 years of my life changing for someone and it didn't work and it was miserable. And like, I'm never doing that again. And did I learn the hard way? Sure. But like now I have all of these life lessons. And it's like you said, the person that I'm supposed to be with is going to come to my life, accept me exactly as I am, where I'm at, and we can just grow together. Like if I'm too much of a boss bitch for you, that's your fucking problem. Like, see,
yeah, that's your insecurity.
Like literally, like I was on a date with some guy and I said something and I was like, oh yeah, if like that's a deal breaker for you, like honestly, this was fun. But like if there's no second date, like, and I was like joking, you know what I mean? I was like, if it's for you, like that's totally fine. Like you're still paying for the drinks, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't give a shit. Like I literally don't care. I don't care.
I think the best way to go into dating is to literally not give a shit. Guys, we try to tame like our quote unquote crazy and we try to like act like put our best foot forward. Guys love when girls are just like out of control. They're like, oh my God, like she's fun. Yes. I love the crazy.
Let me tell you, it worked. I was making out on the side of the street. I literally told my friends, I was like, you guys, I just made out with someone on the side of the street. And they were like, what? And I was like, I'm out of control. Like literally just be out of control. That's all my advice for you. Be out of control.
Yeah. No, it's so true. This was amazing. I think you're so great. And like now we're going to be friends because
I'm obsessed with you and we'll be best friends. You're coming on my podcast because we have so much more to talk about.
I know. I feel like I could talk for hours.
I know. Like literally like, so should we just start a podcast together and talk forever? Like that's kind of where I'm at.
No, it's so true. Where could everyone follow you, watch your vlogs, all of the whole nine?
Just, type in, I suggest Instagram. You type Lauren Elizabeth and you'll see my podcast like linked there. It's Mood with Lauren Elizabeth. It's basically kind of how we're talking right now. You'll hear a similar episode when we record together because I'm forcing you to do that. So just Lauren Elizabeth on everything, YouTube, podcast, the whole works.
Amazing. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, Ask Alyssa. Let's get into it. Thank you guys so much for continuously writing in and just like being so honest and open with me. I really, really appreciate it and appreciate the fact that you guys even care about my advice because let's face it, I'm a professional and I'm not a professional and I have no idea what I'm saying. Okay. Ask Alyssa. Hi, I'm 31 years old and I would really love to find love, but I just feel so overwhelmed by online dating. I'm not comfortable in my own body. I've gained lots of weight during quarantine and I know I need to be more self-confident. I want to settle down, but I just find it daunting swiping left to right, interacting over a phone. I'd much rather meet a man in person, but that's too hard. I feel like I'm the last one in my friend group to have a boyfriend, get engaged, married, and have kids, and I hope my turn is soon. Any advice you can give me on overcoming my fear of online dating or other ways to meet would be great. P.S. I'm back in college for nursing, but since class has been online, I haven't met anyone at school, and I think I'm older than most anyway. Side note, I love your advice and your podcast. It's something I look forward to each week. Thank you. I'm in the same boat as you, girlfriend. I mean, I'm 30, I'm single. Online dating is super freaking daunting. I think although you don't like it, and myself as well, you just have to give it a chance because like in today's society, like 50% of people, I don't know if this is a real stat, but like what seems like 50% of people are meeting each other on online dating apps.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, I definitely do think you can meet someone that way. I do think school would be a great place for you, but like you said, maybe they're younger and you're not going in right now. The only light at the end of the tunnel is the fact that now that people are vaccinated and going out, I do think we're going to have a pretty regular summer. You maybe have more opportunity to meet people in real life. And then also about confidence. I've been working a lot on self-confidence with my therapist because it's just something that I've been lacking since I put on weight. And the most interesting thing happened to me. So I started to just like feel more confident, even though nothing physically changed. Like it's just a mindset.
Yeah.
You're just like, you just kind of like be like, I accept myself.
Like believe it.
Yeah. And once you start believing it, I noticed the other night when I was at a bar with my friends, I mean, granted, like not interested, but this guy came up and talked to me, two people.
Yeah.
And I was saying to my therapist, I was like, it didn't matter what I looked like they still were coming up to me.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, because you had that mental shift and your energy's better. She was like, when you're in your head thinking about your weight and your body and how you look, you're closed off like energetically.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting there and you're internalizing everything versus being open. And because you didn't care and you just felt so open, other people were attracted to you.
Yeah.
I believe that to be true. So even if you're not happy with where you are right now, you have to try to get that mental piece of like, I could be loved at any size. I can meet someone. It doesn't matter what I look like. It's, you know, as long as I love myself, other people will love me. So try to just believe that, feel that, give out like those good vibrations, as Chloe last week would have said. And I think you'll attract someone that just sees you for your like who you are and your confidence.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely like confidence is like almost like fake it till you make it. And then like once you just keep doing that, you'll believe it at a certain point. Like you just have to like walk into the room and be like, all right, I'm the hottest bitch in this room.
It's
and
so
then
true.
like people will be like, oh shit, look at her. You know what I mean?
It's like a magnet.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's really crazy how when you're confident, doors open for you.
It's like easier said than done. You just got to have that energy that people, like you said, will like be more so open to it.
No, I 100% agree. And like I saw it happen for me. And not to say I don't have bad days or good days, but I'm on this like journey of just like being content. And I think it's really working. So I hope that you find that peace too. And I totally understand. Every single one of my college friends is married. One has a baby. A few will probably start trying soon. Of my home friends that I grew up with, I'd say 50% of us are single. So that's a little bit easier for me. But I just try to tell myself like, this is my path and this is my journey. And I know what's going to happen for me. And I don't take being single for granted. Like I think being single for so many years has like really let me know who I am. So
also, like times are changing. Like people don't get married at like 26 anymore.
So true.
It's getting older and older. Like you shouldn't be like ashamed or nervous just because you're in your 30s. Like there's plenty of time.
I 100% agree. Like times are really changing when it comes to that.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. I'm just doing these in order, so it's kind of ironic because some of them have like similar themes, but these are just what you guys submit to me. Hi, I just want to say I love the podcast. I'm looking for some advice regarding body positivity. I have had body issues my whole life. I've struggled with disordered eating and body dysmorphia since I can remember. I'm now 4 months pregnant, and this is the first time in probably 10 years that I haven't been on some sort of diet or strict eating regimen. I'm super worried about this being amplified once I have my baby because my body will be so different. I'm also so worried about passing these traits on to my baby girl. Any advice would be so helpful. Wow. So again, I am not a professional, so take what I say, consult a doctor. But what I believe is that it is a blessing that you're pregnant after struggling with eating issues your whole life. And the fact that you're pregnant with your baby and you are not restricting yourself is the biggest blessing in disguise, because that's what you should be doing. And even if your body looks different when you're done with the baby, that is the biggest blessing, because you'll have regular periods and the right amount of nutrients, and you'll be a healthier person for your child. You need to eat fuel to sustain yourself. And I think the fact that you've stopped restricting yourself is honestly progress. So what I would recommend is once you have your baby, consult like a nutritionist or a therapist that specializes in eating disorders, and read books on intuitive eating. And I would continue on this path of, you know, intuitive eating. What I'm learning doesn't mean eating whatever you want, whenever you want, just eating cheeseburgers. It's listening to your body. So if your body needs a salad that day, you give your body a salad. But if you want to have some potato chips, you have some potato chips. But it just means you don't eat the whole bag. You stop when you're full. The food's going to be there tomorrow. It's like retraining the way you think and rewiring the way you think around food. So you have to kind of accept goes back to what I said before. Like, this is where my body is. My body is carrying this baby. It is a vessel for life. You know, I need to best take care of my body so I could best provide for my baby and my family and myself. So I actually think it's really a blessing in disguise that for the first time in 10 years, you're not on an eating regimen. That's my advice. I don't really think there's anything else to add. Do you have anything?
No, I think that was really good. I think it's like upsetting that she is like saying that she doesn't want to pass it on like to her daughter, I think she said.
Yeah.
But it's just like the world that we live in now that like that's something that she has to worry about for like growing up with a daughter. And I think it's just like so sad. It's obviously easier said than done to just kind of like fix it, but
yeah, that's a good thing to point out. I think to be the best mom you could be is to be a good example.
Yeah.
And to be a good example, it would be great for your daughter to see you not counting calories or struggling with food or limiting yourself. I don't know because I'm not a parent, but when I think about the way I want a parent, and obviously it's so much easier said than done, but in my head, I'm like, I kind of want my kids to think about food as neither good or bad.
Yeah.
I want them to just be like, oh, I need to eat because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Like, instead of being like, this is a good food, this is a bad food, pizza's good, soda's bad.
Yeah.
It's more just like, okay, you want a sip of soda? Here's a sip.
Right.
But then give them water and juice.
Yeah, and balance it.
Balance it. I think, honestly, in life, just they say balance is key, but it really is.
Yeah.
So I think the best example you could set for your daughter is just making her not attached to food in a negative or a positive way, just like eating to live.
Yeah. To survive.
Versus living to eat. That's what we joke and say because my family's so Italian that we're like, we live to eat.
Yeah. I love that. That's amazing.
Okay, and the last one, it's a little long, but you know, we love some detail. Hey, Alyssa, been a fan of you since you launched at Barstool, loving the pod and tuning in each week. I could definitely use some advice from you and the Tea Tribe. I'm getting married this June and my fiance just got back from his bachelor party. He went with his 10 friends to Austin for 7 days. Wow, 7 days is a really long bachelor party.
That is really long. It's just like the weekend.
Right? He hasn't traveled since COVID, and I was super happy he'd get a nice trip in with his boys. We laid out the ground rules of what is okay and what is not okay beforehand. Basically, like going to the strip club, getting a lap dance is fine, but nothing that's a sexual act, which he agreed to. But him and his friends seriously took this to another level, and this trip was super excessive, sorry. Like, it's not like they hit up the strip club just once. They went every night, and then 2 days had strippers come to their Airbnb for private girl-on-girl shows, private dances, and games. Oof. Technically, he kept his word to me besides the game, and I'm just feeling sad and hurt because going once or even twice to a club on this trip wasn't enough. They needed to go every night. Am I in the wrong for feeling betrayed a little? I thought I was the chill girl who would be okay with him doing this sort of thing, but felt like shit afterwards as he filled me in each day. Any advice on how to handle should this have been my expectation? Feeling conflicted. And let me clarify, he ended up licking whipped cream off a stripper's ass, playing one of the games, which in my opinion doesn't constitute normal strip club behavior. Thank you for being open and hearing me out and helping. First of all,
this is a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot, but I like that he was honest.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, there was a lot going through my brain. It was like, okay, well, first of all, if you have to kind of like tell him to set boundaries, I feel like you should just trust him. You shouldn't have to tell him that he shouldn't like be sexual with someone else when you're going to get married. But I do understand like where she's coming from, that she wanted him to like, she was being honest. But then, like the honesty is what's throwing me off. Like he could have just left it and not told her anything.
Yeah, he's like, and then, wait, it's like Ronnie, the note from Jersey Shore.
Oh, yeah.
And then he stuck his head between the girl's breasts.
Two cocktail waitress's breasts.
This is my stance on strip clubs. I think any girl that's like, you can't go to the strip club, you're naive, because then they're just going to go and they're going to lie to you.
Yeah, exactly.
If my fiance wants to go to the strip club on his bachelor party, sure.
Whatever.
Because I trust him, I would hope.
Exactly.
So I don't think you're wrong there. I agree. Go to the strip club, get a stripper, just don't do anything. Don't cross a boundary. And I would hope the guy that I'm with, although it's fun, he's kind of doing it because it's like the thing you do, not because he's the guy that's like into strippers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%. Like, it's just the bachelor party vibes. Like, everyone does that. It's like, oh, last night before you're gonna get married.
Like, I want a stripper at my bachelor party. Like,
exactly.
I've done it at my friends and my sisters. Sorry, Jackie. And but they don't get fully naked. Like, we always get just like
for fun.
Yeah, like the person in like the apron.
Yeah.
But like, it's so fun
Right.
because it's so awkward and you're laughing and you're giggling and you're like, oh my god, a butt's out.
Yeah.
So like, fine, I agree with you. Like, I would have been like, you can go, but like, obviously don't do anything.
Right.
But I agree with Mackenzie also that like, you almost shouldn't have to say that.
Yeah.
But I probably would because you just like are nervous.
Just to get, especially like, also the 7 days thing is wild. And the fact that they had to go every night is a little weird.
It also sounds to me like his friends, first of all, like, were they doing drugs? Because how are you like every night, like,
excited to go to the strip club, but it also it did sound like the friends were kind of, and I think that always that happens a lot on bachelor parties where the guy's like, no, like, I don't want to do anything, like the groom, and then all the like groomsmen or whoever with them is like, no, dude, we gotta do it, like, you're gonna be married
and
soon.
then you want to be like cool,
exactly, like play along with it.
I think it's excessive. I think you have a right to be upset. Because it's kind of just like, to be blunt, it's kind of weird.
Yes.
Like, it's just like,
why did you need to do that?
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird flex. Like, why do you need to go see naked girls every single night for 7 nights? Like, what, to prove that you and your friends are the man?
Right,
like,
yeah.
It's kind of like a sleazy thing to do. So I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah,
like, it takes the fun out of it and it makes it like a little much, which I think is what you're feeling.
Yes.
Like, yeah, go get your fun. I think it also depends on his friends, like maybe who he's surrounding himself with.
Yeah, which, again, I think that happens a lot.
You know, he was honest with you, it sounds like. You do have a right to be uncomfortable. And I think you have a right to kind of just be like a little pissed off. I would be weirded out if I'm being completely honest.
Mm-hmm. It's one thing if that just happened and then he was telling her about it, but the fact that she had specifically asked him to like not do that or like to not cross a boundary, and then he went and did it like so many times, or like they went so many nights. She asked you to do that, like you should respect her boundaries and what she wanted. But if she hadn't said anything, like maybe, I don't know. It's such a weird situation.
It's also like 7 nights is so many nights.
So that's a long time for a bachelor party, I guess. Like, that's just vacation.
That's why I feel like his friends are just like party animals.
Yeah.
Like, they must have been like,
But the honesty is what's like throwing me off a little bit because he obviously like felt bad about it, and because if he was honest about it, he's probably telling the truth, because if he wasn't going to tell her, he would just not tell her anything.
But this is where I sometimes think I'd rather not know.
Okay, I would agree with that.
If you
100%.
didn't do anything, don't tell me how many times you went.
Right.
And I don't want anyone to ever lie to me, but sometimes with relationships, I do think ignorance is a little bit of bliss.
Oh, definitely.
Because even if you did nothing, I have nothing to worry about. But now that I know that you went, I'm pissed.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, and if it's something as little as like licking whipped cream off her butt or something,
like, I let the stripper do a
whatever.
shot off for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I feel like a little thing like that, I'd rather just not know, because then it opens your mind for, oh, what if he did this other thing too? I can't trust him now. So it's almost just like, don't tell me, honestly.
Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You have a right to be weirded
I was
out.
going to say, if that was your question, like, definitely a little sketchy. Also know that he was being honest with you. So I think that's obviously a good sign that he told you.
And I would reevaluate his friend's situation.
Yes, that is very true.
I'd be like, why do you want to be friends with these like boob hungry men?
Frat men, like,
Like, and I don't want to judge your fiance because I don't, but like, it's kind of like piggish to me.
Yes.
Like, why are you so like...
Right. And all the friends could be single too, you know? So it's like, if you're in an environment with all these single people and they're like, oh, let's go out every night, that's just what they're going to do.
I know. That's the other part. Because sometimes I think men succumb to pressure.
Oh, yeah,
They don't want to be like the guy that's like, no, I got a wife.
Yeah,
or like,
exactly.
I got a fiance.
They try to play it cool. Yeah, definitely.
All right, girl. Well, my advice is take your time, be a little pissed, ask some questions, and just be like, dude, what were you thinking? Like, 1-2 times, but 7? Like, relax.
Yeah.
I would be annoyed. Okay, that's it for this week's Ask Alyssa. Now let's spill some tea. I told you guys I have some HIBLIs, and if you're new here, HIBLI is hate it but love it. It's when you hate something so much that you actually kind of love it. And that's how I feel about Addison Rae's dress last night at the VMAs. Was it the VMAs? The MTV Awards?
MTV Awards, yeah. I don't know if that's the VMAs.
I hate it because if I was to wear something like that, the fattest part of my stomach and hips would be hanging out.
Yes.
Like, who could do that other than
literally
her?
No one.
Like, that's literally the most unflattering part of a woman's body.
Yep.
And she just, like, is snatched.
She looked so
So
good.
she just put it on display.
Yeah.
So I'm like, girl, love that for
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the little nipple thing. Like,
Yeah.
I have huge ass boobs. That would not work.
Yeah.
But she could do it. So it's kind of like, did I think it was that fashion forward? Honestly, no. But do I kind of love it because it takes balls to do that? And it's her way of kind of being like, I'm not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a major HIBLI for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. When I first looked at it, I immediately was like, absolutely not. What are we doing? That's not, those aren't clothes. Like, that's not a thing. But after seeing it on my Instagram timeline for a while, I just kept seeing it pop up.
Yeah.
And I was like, after like the third time, I was like, all right, maybe it does look good on her. But it's also one of those things, like I see this trend on TikTok that's like, is it a real outfit or are they just skinny? And like people will like try on the outfit, like it's Kendall Jenner wearing a tank top and like low rise jeans, and they're like, all right, no, she's just like thin, so it looks really good on her.
It's so true.
Yeah, but also Addison, like I feel like she's not like super stick thin, like,
which I love.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like athletic,
yes,
kind
she's
of.
like built. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And like she looks really good, and she obviously pulled
I
it off.
agree. It wasn't like Kendall Jenner or like Bella Hadid wearing it.
Right,
It was
right.
someone like she still is curvy.
Yes, exactly.
And I liked that because I think that takes balls.
100%. Yeah.
Also, what I hated was the blazer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I get it. You need something to cover up a little bit, but they could have done something else. I
Yeah.
thought the blazer was kind
like
of
long,
random
too, right?
Yeah, it felt like a little like an afterthought. Like, let's
Yeah.
just throw this blazer on.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it was almost like too baggy for everything else that
They
she was
almost
wearing.
needed like an embellished jacket that was the same embellishment as the belt.
Oh, yeah.
Like a cool like chain
Yeah.
jacket would have been cool.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, something to mix it up.
Next time, Addison.
Next time.
Next time you wear
or
that
like
outfit.
sleeves that you could slip on would have been cool. But major HIBLI for me, but I support. And I think Addison is like really reminding me so much of Britney Spears in the sense of like they came up super innocent, like Tennessee accent, blonde hair dancing. And then all of a sudden they're like MTV Awards,
Yeah.
like skimpy outfit.
Right.
I'm not a kid anymore.
And she was like making out with that guy.
Oh my God, making out with her
So wild.
co-star,
Yeah.
who's like kind of hot.
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking at his Instagram and I was like, get it, girl.
Yeah, I know.
But like, okay, now to just get more into the TikTok drama, Bryce tweeted something like whatever, I'm moving on. And it's like, dude, she's an actress
Right.
kissing her co-star
Right.
who has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to make a public statement. Like, you don't have to be mad. You can't be mad at that. Even if they were together, she still could have done that because she's an actress and they were acting.
Exactly. Or
Like, why does everything with these TikTokers have to be like tweet about it?
yeah, it's so dramatic. They
It
just
just-
want like the clicks.
It just reminds you how young they are.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, it's fine.
Yeah, because honestly, you
Relax.
really think about it, you're like, if I was that young, I'd probably be upset about that too. But
I would be.
It's just heightened for them.
But like, they literally, it's because they're coming in a movie together and it was promotion.
yeah,
It's-
exactly.
It's not that deep.
No, not at all.
And then Chase Stokes and Madeline, what's her last name? Do you know? Klein.
Yeah.
From
Outer Banks.
Outer Banks. Oh my gosh, brain fart. We're also kissing and they're just like so cute.
They're so cute. I love them. It's funny because I didn't realize until after I watched the first season, he's like a little bit older. Not by
Yeah.
much, but he's
she's
like
young,
in his
yeah.
late 20s, I think, and she's young, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that, but I just didn't realize that he was older because
No,
they
yeah.
all seem like
I
they're the
think they
same
have
age.
a big like age difference.
Yeah.
But I think she's stunning.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, for
I
sure.
think she is beautiful.
Yeah, I would guess that she's the same age as him if I was just like looking at her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's so pretty. I think she's funny too. Like
Even
listening
just
to interviews.
watching Outer Banks, I was like, this girl's gorgeous. I recently rewatched it. And
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
I
I kind
should.
of want to be like, I kind of want to remind myself. So when I rewatch the second season.
I
know.
Yeah, I might do that too, actually. I forgot about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, it was helpful because I feel like the first time you watch something, you're kind of on your phone, you space out. There was a lot I didn't pick up on until I rewatched it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I'm trying to... All right, guys, I think that's it for Celeb Tea. Sorry if you keep hearing sirens in the background. They're probably not getting picked up, but if you are, New York City, it is what it is. I will be back next Tuesday with a oh my God. I will be back next Tuesday with a TikToker that I think you guys will be excited to hear from. So don't forget, if you're enjoying the podcast, please leave me 5 stars and leave a written review. It really helps me. I love reading your reviews, and it helps the show grow. So, share with a friend, tag me in your stories when you're listening. I will repost you, tag me in your merch, all the things. Love talking to you guys. And if you want, you could also join the Facebook group. Everything's linked in my bio. As always, I love you guys, and I will see you next Tuesday.